sensation. What give me examples for neuroepithelium specialized for sensation? Taste buds on the tongue. Together with palate, pharynx. What else? يبقى أنا قلتها. So I already mentioned. Okay. Doesn't work. It's a tough day. This is neuroepithelium. Okay, examples of cells present. I showed it before. Okay. Modification.
ايش كلهم حاجه خدتوها انتم؟
All of it. Okay. Cell junction. This? No.
No.
No, we didn't take
No. Stop it, please. Let me go. Because I am confused from what happened. Cell junction. 3 main types. Number 1, occlusion junctions. What do you mean by occlusion? My fingers are the cells. The spaces in between cells are closed at the apex. Or close to the apex. If there are enzymes or substances which can go in between the cells, they will not be able. So, only the cells can take what the body needs to enter the body. So it occludes or closes the intercellular space. Where? At the apex of cells. So the junction is at the apex. Number 2, anchoring junctions. We need plenty cells to provide mechanical strength. It makes the cells adhere together. So it's difficult to be separated. Example, the epidermal cells are connected by adherent junctions to prevent their separation with friction. So a strong friction is needed to separate the cells from each other. Number 3, communicating junction. What does we mean by communication? Communication of cytoplasm of adjacent cells together. So, through this gap junction, small molecules, some hormones, some ions can pass from the cytoplasm of one cell to another cell. Okay? Allow movement of molecules between cells. Molecules usually small. Molecules may be hormones. Molecules may be ions. If the junction extends around the... Okay, let me get picture to understand this. Okay. According to the area the cell junction occupying, or it is present. If the junction surrounds the whole cell, we call it zonular. Just like the cement in between these small plates. This one is connected to the whole surrounding. Okay? So, if the junction includes a surrounding area, we call it zonular. Zonular. From zone, but it is small, because the cell is small. Okay? Zone. Just like my belly. Zone. If the junction is at one point, it is called macula. One more time?
Yes.
Okay. If the junction, just like my belt, all around the cell, we call it zonula. If the junction at a spot, just like this, we call it macula. If the junction takes a bend, we call it fascia. Where is it? Yes. We call it fascia. This is according to the area of the junction. But what's about the type of the junction? The zonula, the occludence junction may be in the form of a zonula or a fascia. What is about the adherent junction? The adherent junction may be in the form of zonula or macula. One more type. If the junction is present in, this is called desmosome. This is gap?
Yes.
No, it has to. Whatever. This is macula. In a spot, it's called the macula. If this macula is present here, but does not connect the two cells, but connects the cell to the basement membrane, it is called hemidesmosome. So what are the types of cell junction? According to nature of junction, they are divided into occludence, adherent, and the gap. About the area of this type of junction, we divide it into zonula, fascia, and macula. Is it clear? Very good. Okay. This is a gap junction. This is the cell membrane of one cell. So this is the cell. This is the cell membrane of the adjacent cell. What is this? It's a tube. What is the structure of the tube? Just like my fingers. But instead of 5, we have to put 6. 6 what? Transmembrane proteins. What do we mean by transmembrane proteins? Proteins which extend all the way in the cell membrane, and a part is exposed on the surface and a part is exposed on the other surface. This structure is formed of 2, 4, 6 transmembrane proteins with a hydrophilic area in the center which can transmit water-soluble substances from the cytoplasm of this cell to the cytoplasm of the neighboring cell. Okay? One more thing. This is the normal intercellular substance where the tissue fluid can pass in between the cells. But at the gap junction, the cell membranes have to come closer. Why? For the tube, the tubes of this cell can meet the tubes of the adjacent cells. So this is a continuous space. What we call the structure formed of 6 transmembrane proteins, connexon. What we call its transmembrane proteins, connexins. Is it clear? Very good. Very good. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay. Do you have any question? Clear? Yes. نعم. اللي قبل كده؟ لا. have three main types of cell junction according to the nature of junction. If the intercellular space is closed in between the cells, we call it occluded or tight junction. This is one cell and this is the next cell. There is fusion of the cell membranes of the two adjacent cells at different levels. But forget about different levels. Remember only fusion of the two cell membranes. To make it tight, don't allow things to pass in between the cells, but has to pass through the cytoplasm of the cells. Number 2, adherent junction. We make the cells adhere together. In adhesion, the intercellular space, the intercellular space widens. Widens why? Because the cell membrane had transmembrane glycoproteins. Their carbohydrates at the surface. The carbohydrates adhere to each other. Okay? Another thing, what is the function of carbohydrate attached to proteins and the lipids of the cell membrane? Cell coat. What are the functions of cell coat? Cell adhesion and the cell recognition. This is in the cell. Okay? So they adhere to each other. But what is inside? There are filaments, which are called microfilaments, to push the two cell membranes together to adhere. If the area in the two types of junction in the form of a belt, we call it zonular. In case of occludens or tight, we call it zonular occludens or zonular tight junction. If it's in the form of a band, we call it fascia occludens. In desmosome or adherent junction, where is adherent? Adherent junction is here. If the junction is all around, we call it zonular adherent junction. If the junction is at a spot, a small area, we call it macular adherent junction. Okay? Macular adherent junction can be in between two cells, but if in between one cell and the basement membrane, this cell will form the structure of the desmosome, but the basement membrane doesn't form. So we have a half desmosome, and we call it hemidesmosome. Okay? You understand me? Okay, what about the gap junction? Cytoplasmic communication. By what? Connexons. A group of connexons make a gap junction. So what is the structure of a gap junction? Number 1, it is in the form of a spot. What does this spot contain? Connexons. Multiple connexons. Each connection is formed of 6 connexons. Is it clear now? Very good. Now 2. This is the structure of an adherent junction. What is its type? Desmosomal. Desmosomal. Here, the transmembrane glycoproteins. Here, the attachment of the carbohydrate of the transmembrane glycoprotein. What is this? A descoprotein. A descoprotein to which attached filaments. to push the two cell membranes close together. Second picture. What is this? This is one half of a desmosome. And this is the basement membrane. No another half. No cell. So we call it what? Hemidesmosome. Not written? Here. Anchoring junctions or adherent junctions link the cytoskeleton of cells close to each other, I will call it. And two underlying tissues, we call it hemidesmosomes. In the cells, who forms the skeleton of the cell? Pyramids and microtubules. What do we mean by filaments and microtubules make the skeleton? The skeleton is the shape of the cell and its support. These filaments of the junction are attached to the skeleton. So, the skeleton of two adjacent epithelial cells are connected together by desmosomal junction. So, adherent junction connect, make the cells adhere. Number two, it connects the cytoskeleton of the two cells. واضح ولا أقول تاني؟ Clear? Clear. يبقى which type of junction in which the cytoskeleton of the two cells are connected? Adherent junction. Which type of junction do the cytoplasm is connected?
Gap junction.
Gap junction. What is the commonest site for gap junction? Heart. Cardiac muscles. But one more, gap junction is present in between most of the cells of the body except skeletal muscles. Except skeletal muscles. Because each muscle is a separate cell. Okay? Surrounded by connective tissue. Now I think to be fair. I think. Junctional complex. What do you mean by the word complex?
More
than one thing. A group of things. When we call junctional complex, we have different types of junctions. Each one has its own role. Close to the cell, the surface, you may find zolula occludens. To close the space in between the cells, so nothing can pass in between the cells, but has to be transported through the cytoplasm by endocytosis. Next, cellular adherent junction. Next, gap junction. This is the desmosome, but usually gap junction. So, whatever is the type of junctions, what do you mean by junctional complex? The presence of more than one type of junction. Whatever is the types, according to the functions of the site. Do I am clear?
Yes.
Very good. No, leave it to connective tissue. Leave it to connective tissue. Defect and disease of cilia. I mentioned this. Hemoptype syndrome, which is called Cartagena syndrome. Right or wrong?
Yes.
I mentioned this, so I don't have to repeat it. Thank you for epithelium. Now to connective tissue. Scared? Scared? Scared?
Oh, yes. Minimize it, Doctor. Minimize it from the top. Top right corner. Doctor, from the top right corner.
Yes. I have to remove this to see.